Now, started my recording. You can share with topology. If you take, we have two types of topology. We have two LAN and WAN topologies. In that, first we are seeing the bus to LAN topology. LAN first topology is bus topology, where the cable is coaxial cable connected is BNC connector. It's connected in such a way when, for example, PC1 is sending data to PC3. What will happen in this bus topology is first it will send to everybody. Okay, it will send to everybody. I change it. I will go like this. It will go to everyone. Now we call this as a, when I am sending to everyone, we call this PC1 is my sender. PC2 is detector. PC3 is detector. Receive and reply. PC4 is detect and discard. Only this PC3 is going to read because we are sending PC1 to PC3. So PC3 only will receive and reply. When the reply is starting, right? When the reply is started, we will start doing. Again, this will come like this. Everybody will receive. Again, this time he is the sender. This guy detector. He is receiver. Detector. This is the way communication happens. But data flow will happen in bus topology. Bus topology is clear? Both of you? Can I go to ring topology?
Yes, Prem.
Okay. So ring topology, yeah. Ring topology generally is developed for high-end supercomputers. It was built for, you see, this is built for IBM. IBM mainframe. We call supercomputers IBM mainframe. So these mainframe computers, they started building bus topology, ring topology. In this case, there is no inbuilt, there is no devices like a switch or no devices are there. All these supercomputers are directly connected. Okay. In this, how they will communicate data flow. This is the connectivity part. When the data flow happens, right? We have for data flow, we need something called a carrier signal, which carries your data. This carrier signal, we call it as beacon. Now, to understand this beacon and token concept, we'll take one example called the pizza analysis. Now, think like that. There is a pizza guy with a vehicle. No, he is driving, coming in the bike. He is rotating like this, continuously rotating. Okay. Now he is the carrier signal. He's keep on rotating in the road. This is a ring road. 4 houses are there. The pizza guy will be continuously rotating with the carrying some pizzas in hand. Whenever you order a pizza, when you get the order number, you get a receipt for the order. Then the pizza guy will come and deliver whatever you want to deliver or whatever you want to deliver. All these things he will do. The pizza guy will help you to deliver. Even if you want to do good to somebody, he will collect and give to others also. So he is like send and receive whatever you want to do. You want to receive something and receive, even you can send also. Nowadays, sending also possible. You can send and receive both. So it depends on the whatever token you are receiving. Token will be based on the token. You can do TX and RX, receiving and transmitting. Once you receive the token, this is called ring topology data flow. So ring topology data flow, what happens? There is a carrier signal continuously rotating. Now, whenever I want to use this carrier signal to send and receive data, I will request a token. So once the client receives the token, the carrier signal, using the carrier signal, we can send and receive the data. So now this carrier signal technically called a beacon. So from beacon we receive the token. Once you receive the token, you have full. We can use this carrier signal to send and receive TX and RX. So this process is called a ring topology, and we call this as token ring because we are collecting once token is used, right? We call this token ring. Ashwita, clear? Can I go next? Okay. I think Sandeep also clear, right? Next we'll go to very good. Next we'll go to topology. What is the disadvantage of bus and ring topologies? In bus and ring topology, one place cable got cut. For example, this place cable got cut, or that bus topology also one place cable got cut. What will happen? The whole network will go down. There will be no communication between any devices. So to avoid, and troubleshooting also very, very difficult. Where the cable got cut is very difficult to find out. So to avoid that, what they did, they used they invented next topology. The topology is called the star topology. In star topology, what happens? In the star topology, we'll have a central device. This central device is called what? Hub. This is my central device. The central device is called a hub. So where all the PCs are connected. These PCs are called spokes. Remember this word, hub and spoke terminology. This hub and spoke terminology will be, we will be using this hub and spoke terminology again and again in multiple places. This is basically a terminology. So Bangalore is a IT hub, right? Bangalore is a IT hub. Like that, we have multiple hub and spoke terminologies. Okay, so this is a general terminology. So here we are using the word hub and spoke. Why we are saying hub? It is all PCs are connected. All network devices are connected to the central location. The central device is called the hub. So what is the benefit in hub topology? If a cable got cut, only that PC will go down. One. Second is troubleshooting also very easy. Now there is a disadvantage in star topology. What is the disadvantage? The disadvantage is we call it a single point of failure. So what is meant by single point of failure? Single point of failure means if this hub goes down, the whole network will be failed again. Now to overcome this problem, they invented next topology called hybrid. So what is hybrid topology? Hybrid is nothing but mix of two topologies. Like we studied now three topologies. What we studied is bus, ring, and star. So we'll be mixing now. For example, this is star. I'll add a ring in this. Bus and ring, so star and ring. So when I say star and ring, what will happen now? Whenever hub fails, I can use the ring topology and communicate. This is the redundancy. We call it redundant communication. So this type of topologies we call it as hybrid. Hybrid is nothing but mix of multiple topologies like star, bus, ring, more than one. This is called hybrid. Now in real-time scenario, wherever we go for critical networks like airport, banking, ATM banking, servers. So that type of critical networks, we go for one concept called mesh topology. What is mesh topology? Conceptual definition is every host is directly connected to the other host. It's called mesh topology. Okay, every host is directly connected to the other host. Called what we call is mesh topology. Now it's a conceptual diagram. It's not real. Real will not possible. Real will put multiple devices like that. But what they are trying to say here is you try to connect maximum, so you must not have any issue because of cabling. It's called mesh topology. WAN topology clear. Next we'll go to WAN topology. When you say WAN topology, there are two types. One is point to point, point to multi-point. In point to point, two devices are there, two branches are directly connected to the WAN network. Okay, that is point to point, very clear. But in point to multi-point, there is a difference is there. One head office, three branch office. Okay, Mysore, Hubli, and for Dharwad, Belgaum. Mysore, Hubli, Belgaum, like that. So now three offices there. Now these three offices I have connected Bangalore to Mysore, Mysore to Bangalore to Hubli, like that, three cables connected. I went to a service provider gave me a connection. Now Hubli user want to send some data to Mysore, right? It has to go through all the way to Bangalore, which is my hub. Then again it has to go to the Mysore. So spoke to spoke communication will happen through only hub. So this communication, this topology, this data flow is called hub and spoke. Now, suddenly what happened? There is a huge communication between two spokes. Like for example, Mysore and Hubli, you are transferring some data migration or server migration is happening. So you are sending so much of data. So now there is a huge communication always happens. What I am suggested is, okay, instead of you are going all the way from hub to this one spoke, can I make directly spoke to spoke? Yes. Then I have to go to service provider and tell him, service provider, can you give me an extra connection between my two spokes, particular spokes? You can say like Mysore and Hubli, you give me an extra connection. Then what will happen? There will be extra Mbps link will be put inside the service provider. See, this is service provider is doing. This is service provider is doing. So once you put that extra connection, what will happen? You are able to directly send spoke to spoke, one particular spokes. This is called a partial mesh. Fully mesh means all branches are intercommunicating now. So instead of putting going through hub, you just directly go. For example, Mysore want to send Hubli, directly it will go. Hubli want to send to Belgaum, directly it will go, like that. Now when we will go to head office router, when the data really want to go to head office network only, head office data it will go to head office. Otherwise the hub router is never receive any data from for spoke to spoke communication. This is called fully meshed. The three types of WAN topologies when you do point to multi-point. Now, when you go to service provider, and when you're saying like I want to connect between my head office and branch offices, the first two questions service provider will ask is which one you are going, sir, fully mesh or partial mesh? He will ask. You have to explain him fully mesh or you say partial mesh, which branches you want extra connectivity. Is this clear now? Topologies are clear.
Yeah, clear, friends.
Any questions? Ashita, clear? The next topic what I'm going to teach you is cables, cables and media, cables and connectors. Okay. Now here we are going to divide in this media into two types. One is wired media, one is wireless media. So what is wired media? Wired media is basically guided and bounded. Wireless media is unguided, unbounded. So what is the difference here? Wired media, whenever I say I'm using a wired media, the meaning is here what I'm saying is this is I can tell the wired media, take this wire, I can guide the data. One. Second is whatever I guided, it has to go in that cable only. It cannot change the path. It is bound to go in that cable. That is called wired media. Wireless media, we cannot guide the data because, for example, you are using a mobile phone. A tower is whichever tower is having strong signal. Only that tower the mobile will take. So we cannot guide or bound the data in the wireless because whichever is having a high signal, only that tower it will take, that path it will take. That's why wireless we call unguided, unbounded. Now, wired media, if you say there are three cables we are going to discuss. One is coaxial cable, which is generally used in cable TV. Then we have twisted pair, we use for your LAN and Ethernet, Metro Ethernet. We use twisted pair for our LAN and Metro Ethernet. Fiber, we use for our campus, metropolitan, and wide area network. So three cables we use, three network cables. Now, radio waves, if you see, now this is the cables we're going to see in the wired. Wireless, if you see, there are so many spectrums are there. Spectrum is, we call it as frequencies. Okay, radio wave frequencies. Now we are going to use 2.4 and 5 gigahertz frequency, which we call it as Wi-Fi. This frequency is called as Wi-Fi. We have different wireless technologies are there. This Wi-Fi, whenever you see Wi-Fi word, you try to understand this. Wi-Fi means we are using these two frequencies, 2.4 and 5 gigahertz. When I use these two frequencies, we call it as Wi-Fi or radio waves. Then we have microwaves, we have infrared, different frequencies. Now, radio wave frequency is used for WLAN, wireless LAN. Microwave is used for SATCOM and VSAT. What is SATCOM? Satellite communication, big dish antenna. VSAT, the same small dish antenna, very small aperture terminal, like your Sky TV, Dish TV, and the small dish antennas are coming. No, through that you can connect. That is VSAT technology. Then SATCOM. Then we have infrared is used for remote controls. Okay. Now, next I'm going to see three types of cables I told you. First, we are going to see coaxial cable. Let me write down something about this. First, I'll start with coaxial cable. So now, to understand this coaxial cable, I'm going to use one concept called speed speed signaling method and distance limitation. This is the specification, we can say, cable specification, distance limitation. Now, any cable you take, like coaxial cable, just take that. They have this cable specification will come. Now, what is this specification is talking? Specification says speed. So what is the speed now generally? Megabits per Mbps. How many Mbps it is there? Signaling method is two types. One is baseband. Other one you heard about. First one you not you heard about. This one you know, broadband. And broadband. Then we have limitation. This is in meters. How many meters it will support without any data loss. Now, what is baseband? What is broadband? Let us take one example. You have a water pipe which is giving you water per second. No, it is giving you not per second, per minute. Let us take. Per minute, it is giving you 100 liters. Water, big water pipe is there. Water pipe which is giving 100 liters per minute. Now, what I am going to do, I am going to give the full pipe to you. So, per minute, if you start, you open the pipe, you will get a 100 meters. Okay, understand? No. Now, this is called we call it as baseband. Baseband means whatever bandwidth we have, will give the full bandwidth. Full bandwidth I am giving to you. So full bandwidth is given to you, so you can use it, the cable fully. Baseband. Now what is broadband? Broadband is same water pipe you can take. Same size of the pipe is big pipe, but I am not going to give you the full water, full bandwidth. I am going to give only portion of bandwidth. Portion of bandwidth. How to do it? We'll use some technologies. Okay, we'll make in this full pipe, we'll make small pipes. Okay, we'll make small pipes. Like we call it as this. For example, this is 100 Mbps. 100 Mbps pipe. Now I will give you 2 Mbps, 4 Mbps, right? 4 Mbps, 2 Mbps. Like that, I will give you portion. But actually, the pipe size is the pipe limitation is 100 Mbps. But I am giving you, like for example, 10 liters per minute. I'm giving. Okay, but the pipe size is 100 meter. We put a valve for that. In the corporation, no, they'll put a valve that they will adjust the valve. Based on the valve adjustment, you will get that much speed only. You will not get the full 100 Mbps, 100 liters that speed. Understand, right? This is called a broadband. So generally, internet connections, what your Airtel connection are getting is broadband connection. The fiber will have 100 Mbps download speed, 1000 Mbps also. But the cable you are getting to your house will have there will be a splitter. They'll put a splitter and they'll reduce the speed and they split and give you how much you are paid for according to your plan. Okay, data plan. So this is called broadband. Next is distance limitation. Distance limitation already you know. For example, I told you 3 cables. What are the cables we discussed here? Distance limitation. What is the distance limitation for coaxial cable? Anybody tell me? Distance limitation. Yes, no? Sandeep, Ashwita?
Maybe around 500 meters.
Okay, for coaxial cable, right?
Yeah.
Okay, twisted pair? Your house, your office, you're using no cable, general cable.
Yeah.
Because you unsealed the twisted pair. How many meters it can support without any repeater?
Maybe around 200 to 300 meters.
Huh?
200 to 300 meters.
200, no, 100 meters.
Okay.
Fiber, 10 kilometers also we have. Okay. So, this is the general distance limitation. Clear, right? So, yeah. Actually 100 meters, but when you production, we go only 90 meters. You know why 90 meters? There are some patch cord will come from the faceplate to your laptop and jack panel to the devices. Which further will leave 10 meters. So in real time, when you design, right, we design for only for 90 meters. Okay, twisted pair cable. Is this clear?
Yeah.
Okay. Now let's go to okay. Now see 10 base 2. Coaxial cable has two types 10 base 2, 10 base 5. 10 base 2 means 10 Mbps baseband. All are baseband only here. There's no broadband actually. Cables, this technology all are baseband only. So baseband and 2 means 200 meters. So without any repeater, it can travel up to 200 meters. Okay. Up to 200 meters, you have to put a repeater. This is 10 base 2 cable. The next cable is 10 base 5. 10 base 5 means 10 Bps baseband 500 meters. We call this thin net and thick net. So there are two types of coaxial cables there, thin net and thick net. So one will travel within both are 10 Bps, but one will travel with 200 meters, another travel 500 meters. Next is twisted pair. Twisted pair means what? Our general, this is the twisted pair cable. You can see that. This is a twisted pair. Right. Now in this we have 10 base T, 100 base T, 1000 base T. Okay. Now 10 base T is 10 Mbps baseband. T means 100 meters. Remember, T means 100 meters. Okay. So 10 base T is 10 Mbps baseband 100 meters. 100 Mbps baseband. So 10 Mbps called Ethernet, 100 Mbps called fast Ethernet, 1000 Mbps we call gigabit Ethernet. We have now 40 gig, 100 gig also we have. Up to 100 gig we are there. These all are called 10 base T means 1 gig. This is your twisted pair cables. Next is fiber. Fiber we have 1000 base XX, 1000 base LX, single mode, multi mode. In single mode we have only one LED, means one light source. Multi mode will have multiple LEDs. Okay. So LX means what? Short wavelength, short wave. LX is long wave. Shorter wavelength means it will be traveling longer distance. Longer wavelength will travel shorter distance. This is called SX LX. Now we'll go to first we'll see the fiber, then we'll go to twisted pair. In the fiber, generally we have, as I told you, we have two types: multi-mode, single mode. Multi-mode, if you see, we have multiple light sources. Single mode is single light source. Now, what is the cable we are going to use? The cable we are going to use is called in UTP. The cable is called twisted pair. No, the cable is called in coaxial. We call this as BNC, British Naval Connector. Twisted pair we called RJ45. That is like some registered jack or something. RJ45. But in fiber we have multiple types of connectors. Are there LC connector, SC connector, fiber connector, SC connector, ST connector, MTRJ connector. Multiple types are there. You have to be very careful which cable which socket is there in the device. The same patch card you have to purchase. Same connector patch card. Okay, that's why I'm telling you this is the fiber connectivity. Next is when you connect two fibers, you're extending the fiber cable. You have to cut the fiber. And when you cut the fiber, there are different types of cut. Is there polished flat, polished cut, ultra polished cut, and angled polished cut. Now, what is the difference here? One side you cut ultra polished cut, another side you cut flat cut, means the problem will be that there will be a lot of loss will be there. You have to be very careful. Both sides must have same cut. Okay. Each cut has its own what do you call it? The loss is there. So based on that, we can decide which cut you want. We can decide that. Next is single mode and multi mode. What is this? As I told you, single light source, multiple light source. Okay. But single mode is expensive than multi mode compared to that. Single mode can travel 10 kilometers. Multi mode can travel only 2 kilometers. Single mode is basically used by whom? Used by telecom service providers and the cable TV operators. Multi mode is used for LAN. In our company, in our enterprise networks, we use multi mode because it can travel 2 kilometers. Even we have some little bit extend good multi mode cables, it can travel more than 2 also. But 2 is more than enough for us as a campus network design. Even campus also, even LAN also. LAN also, uplink also, 2 kilometers more than enough. Okay, then let's say we go for multi-mode solution. Okay, Single mode solution is costly, but that will be used for service products. Is this clear? Any questions? Sandeep and Ashwita, both are clear?
Yes, Prem, clear.
Now next, twisted pair. Twisted pair, if you see, there are three types of. First of all, twisted pair is mainly classified into two parts. What are they? They are called shielded twisted pair, unshielded twisted pair. So where we use unshielded twisted pair? Unshielded twisted pair is used for general networks. What are we using? And where we use shielded twisted pair? Shielded twisted pair means what? The same 8 cables are there. 8 cables is made into 4 pairs. Each pair will have a aluminum foil. See this diagram? This is your shielded twisted pair diagram. So then it will be grounded. Now why we need to use this aluminum foil and ground it? Because I don't want any electrical disturbance to happen. We call it as EMI, electrical magnetic interference must not happen. So for that purpose, we go for shielded twisted pair. Then we have two types of cable: straight through cable, crossover cable, and one exception is there. Generally, straight to straight, same devices, router to router, switch to switch, PC to PC, right? We use crossover cable. Different devices, we use straight through cable. There is only one exception is the router to PC. We use crossover cable. This is the general classification. Nowadays, some switches are coming with auto configuration. There we just put straight through cable. Wherever they want crossover, it will automatically change to crossover. But that is a feature. If the feature is not there, you have to rightly select the right cable. Otherwise, the communication will not happen. Now, how do I differentiate straight through and crossover cable? Anybody? How do I differentiate straight through and crossover? How do I find out which cable is straight through, which cable is crossover? Anyone? Yes, no? Smita? How do I differentiate straight through and crossover cable? Yeah, if somebody gave you one cable to you, how do you know this cable is straight through or crossover cable? Smita, are you able to hear me? Are you there?
Prem, your voice is too much breaking.
Okay. Is it clear now? Is this clear now?
Yeah. Now it's clear.
Is it clear now?
Yeah.
Okay. So what I was asking is, how do you differentiate straight through and crossover cable? Ashwita, are you there? Are you able to hear me?
Yeah, I'm there.
Okay, madam. So do you know the answer? How do you differentiate straight through crossover cable?
Yeah, if you want to connect a switch to a computer, then we'll use crossover cable. Then we want to
Switch to computer, huh?
switch or sorry?
Switch to computer.
Yeah, switch to computer.
No. What is the formula? I told you. Different devices. What cable you have to use? Different devices. What cable?
Switch to PC. It's a straight through cable, and
Yes,
crossover
straight through.
same device.
Yes. So router to router, PC to PC. You know, that time you go crossover cable. Okay.
Yeah.
Now there is only one exception is there. If you connect directly to router, that time you have to go for crossover cable. PC to
Okay.
router. Okay. Okay. Now the question was, how do I differentiate straight through and crossover cable? Somebody gave me a cable. How do I know this is straight through or crossover? How do I check it out? How do I find out?
It depends on color code.
Yes. So there is an organization called EIA-TIA. EIA-TIA. This organization has given you a standard color code. So what are the color codes we have? We have two types of color code. One is 568A, 568B. Okay. Understand? Two types of color code, 568A, 568B. So 568A is left hand side, if you see white green, right hand side also must be white green. Both jacks, the first cable. If they both are having same color, then we call strike through. Left hand side is white green, right hand side is white orange. Then we call this as a crossover cable, 568A crossover cable. Now, same way here, left hand side also white orange, right hand side white orange. Then we consider 568B, 568B crossover straight through cable. Left hand side is white orange, right hand side is white green. Then we see 568B crossover cable. Now the point is, we have two color code standards, 568A, 568B. We can use any one of this. We can use 568 or 568B, but it has to be consistent in all the branches. When I say like, when I'm going to use, my company is going to use 568B, irrespective of any branch, any location, it has to be 568B. Then only you will get a certification. There is something called organizational cabling certification is there. If you don't follow the same color code in the whole all around the certification, your cabling certification will fail. Understand this? Cable is clear?
Yeah, it's clear.
Okay. Ashwita, clear, right? Different types of, yeah, thank you. Different types of connectors are there. Like we discussed about interfaces, LAN interface, WAN interfaces. There are different WAN interfaces are there. Serial interface, VLE ports, Ethernet interface, gigabit interfaces. Okay, that's it. This is the connectors we discussed. This is BNC connector. This is RJ45 we discussed about. Now we are going to study IP addressing. In IP addressing, I'm going to start teaching you classes. I will just today, I will try to finish this basics up to this. I will give an exercise for this. Okay. We'll give an exercise for this, then we'll wind up for the day today. Tomorrow, I will start teaching subnetting and other topics. Like I told you this, up to IPv6, tomorrow I'll cover. Okay. So today I'll try to cover up to this basics. This is very, very fundamental. Today, it is fundamental. So tomorrow I can cover the rest all. Okay. This is my plan. Let us start. First, you can answer in the chat window, or you can unmute and speak yourself also. However is possible for me. No issues. Whatever is possible for you, you can do it. I'll start with first. Let me put this in the WhatsApp. Now, WhatsApp is coming up. Okay. As I told you, computer addressing format. Let me ask you a question. You need to answer in chat window also. Okay for me. Now we are going to study IPv4. IPv4 is how many bit address? Question number 1. IPv4 is how many bit address? Can you chat window, or you can unmute and speak also?
It's 32-bit address.
Huh?
32-bit address.
Very good. IPv4 is represented in what numbering system?
Decimal.
There is a name for it. Decimal, correct? But there is a name. There is a special name for it. The format is called IPv4 is represented in what numbering system? There is a format. What we call that? Ashwita, you know that? IPv4? What is the, we call that representation in what format? Decimal is right answer, but I need some specific answer is that. Let me write down here. IPv4. First I wrote length. Ashwita? Yes, no? You know that format?
No.
No. Okay. The length is 32 bits. Okay. Represented in decimal, but we say one name for that. What is this representation? Represented in, the name is dotted decimal notation. Okay. This is the naming, the terminology they use. Dot, because there will be 4 dot will be there between 4 decimal numbers. That's why it's not just decimal. Like for example, port number is decimal, but this is not decimal. This is dotted decimal notation. Next is divided. This 32 bits is divided into Yeah.
They are divided into 4.
4 octets.
Yeah.
Okay, this 1 octet equal to 8 bits. Okay, this is important. Next, I told you the full range. What is the full range? All the addresses. Whenever I take IP address, MAC address, port address, this has to be given. This 4 is mandatory. This is the format. Okay, this is called IP addressing format.
Range
All
is 0
addresses
to
will-
255.
Yeah, there is a format, right? What is the format? 0 dot 0
0
dot
0 0
dot
0
dot
0.
dot dot to say. Okay, not 0 0.
Yeah.
0
Okay.
dot 0 dot 0
Yeah.
dot 0
Yeah.
2
255
255 dot 255 dot
255 dot
255 dot
255
dot 255. Now this full range, now I'll start topic number 1, class. Full range is divided into 5 classes. Okay. Class A, class B, class C. You can write down this. This is a formula I'm going to give you. For everything, I'm going to give you a formula. Tomorrow, when I'm doing the conversion, submitting, I'll ask you the formula. You need to tell me the formula, how I am finding these classes. All the 10 steps, we're going to do 10 today. All the 10 I'll give one formula. So that formula you have to tell me tomorrow. Okay, only answer is okay, but I want to go by formula by formula. First class. There are 3 classes, total 5 classes. First 3 classes is for host. Host is what? Computer, switch, PC, router, anything. Any device which is having processing power and storage and forwarding capacity. That is called host. Then we have reserved for reserved 2 classes are reserved, D and E. Okay, let us write down. Now, how do I find out the class? What is the formula? The formula is, I'll write down the formula to find out the class. The formula is in first octet. In first, by, I'll put like this, by first octet range. That's it. I'll give the range. If the range is 1 to 126, I'll call this as a class E. First octet. There are 4 octets, no? 0 dot 0 dot 0 dot 0. The first octet will see, the first octet number is 1 to 128, 126. I'll call this as a class A. If the range is 128 to 191, I'll call this class C. 192 to 223, I'll call this as a class C. 128 to 191 is class B. Class D is 224 to 239. Class D. This is reserved for multicasting. Multicasting means 1 to group or many. Okay, multicasting. Multicasting means 1 to group or many. When I'm using video conferencing, audio conferencing, we use this IP addresses for conferencing calls. Next is reserved. This is reserved for what? Reserved for number ranges 240 to 255. This is reserved for IANA R&D. So IANA want to do internal R&D, any R&D they want to do, they use this range. So this is not given to outside people. For their internal research, they kept one range, IANA R&D labs, for R&D labs. Okay, now whenever I give any IP address, you have to see the range. First octet, what is the range? The first octet range decides the class. Is this clear? Ashwita and class is clear, right? Can I go to subnet mask?
Yeah, sure, Prem.
If you have any doubt, you just stop there and ask me, okay? I'll go fast now. If you have any question, any doubt, you ask me. Now, subnet mask means what? This is also 32 bits. Okay, this is the format I'm writing again. What is this subnet mask? Format I'm writing. This is also 32 bits. And this is also representing dotted decimal notation. Okay, and they divided into 4 octets. Okay, this is the format. Now, purpose, why we need subnet mask, right? The purpose is, the subnet mask is, okay, I'll ask you a question, let's see you're able to answer. This is IPv4 is a logical address. L3 net, L3 address, L3 logical address. Okay. Now logical address is subdivided into two parts. What are they? Anybody tell me?
Host address and network address.
Yes, very good. Network address and host address. Now, what is host address? What is network address? Network address is basically we are talking about the area or branch address. Okay, name of the network, you can say. Okay, name of the network. When I ask you like, what is your Mysore or Bangalore company address means you have to say this address. Name of the network is network address. Okay. Now, what is host address? A particular network interface called a device address. That is called a host address. Now, how do I find out when I give an IP address? How do I find network address and host address? So for that we use subnet mask. So in the subnet mask, to identify this network address and host address, we use subnet mask. What subnet mask we use to identify network bits and host bits in IP address. Example, I'll tell you. Give example. The example is now I have 192.168.1. This is my IP address. 192.168.1.1. If I actually what I do? If I actually conversion decimal to binary octet conversion, if I do, I'll get like this: 11000000 dot 1010 space 1000 dot 000 dot space 000 dot 000 space, sorry, it will come 1.1, right? 1 will come here, 1 and 0001. This is actually my IP address. But if I speak like this, human is not able to represent it is not possible. So instead of that, we use this numbering system. That's for human easy representation. For representation, human representation, we are using this dotted decimal notation. But computer uses this address only. According to computer, what is the address of the computer? If you ask computer, computer will give this answer only. Okay. So this in this 32 bits, how many bits are network bits? How many bits are host bits? Why I need to know? If I don't know this, I cannot find out the network address and host address. For that, I'm going to use subnet mask. So in this is 32 bits. Okay, now how to do that? How to find? How? The answer is very simple. Just go, you take the subnet mask. Okay, in subnet mask. Okay, in subnet mask, ones are network bits and in subnet mask zeros are host bits. That's it. This is the answer. Let me explain you one example. You'll understand. Zeros are host bits. That's it. This is the way we identify the network bits and host bits in the IP address. Let me write down the IP address. Okay. Now I'll write IP address. My IP address is 192.168.1.1. My subnet mask is 255.255.255.0. Now I will convert this subnet mask into binary. 1111, 1111, 1111, 1111. Like this, I'll put one more set, two more sets have to come. This is my subnet mask in binary. Now, how many ones are there? That many ones we call it as network bits. Zeros are host bits. The answer will be, my network bits will be 24. Host bit will be 8. So total, if you see, total will be 32 bits. Okay, understand that. Now see, I'll write down this. How I'll write down is in my IP address, first 3 octets, n network bits, network bits, network bits, host bits. So this is the purpose of subnet mask. So what is subnet mask is going to do me? He is going to tell me in my IP address how many bits are network bits, how many bits are host bits. So using this, I'm going to find out my network address, broadcast address, everything. The next, all the next 10 next questions I'm going to answer only based on this network bits and host bits. So who will tell me the network bits and host bits? My subnet mask. Now, INA gave a default subnet mask. For class A, we have class B, class C. So what is the default subnet for class A? 255 dot. These are the standard values, okay? 255.0.0.0. Class B will be 255.255.0.0. Class C is 255.255.0, 255.0. Now, let us take the IP address. Now, one more point here is, now every time it is difficult for me to say 255.255.255. Because of that, they created another format, easy format, that is prefix. What is this prefix format? Is nothing but slash network bits. Right on here, network bits. What is the meaning here? Always remember one thing here. Whenever you are calculating network bits, you have to come from left to right. When you are calculating host bits, you have to come from right to left. Okay, like this. Network bits is left to right, host bits is right to left. When I say 24, we are coming from left to right now. So left to right, how many ones are there? 8 ones are there. So for class A, the prefix is /8. For class B, the prefix is /16. Class C, the prefix is /24. Is this clear? Everyone is clear? Sandeep and Ashita is clear?
Yes, Prem.
Till now? Okay, let me write down here now one by one. My IP address is 192.168.1.1. So I'm going to write down. First question is, what is my class? I can tell the class is class C. Okay. Second question is, what is the subnet mask? Default subnet mask. Default subnet mask. The answer is 255.255.255.0. Okay. The next question is, what is the prefix for this? Tell me thereafter. The answer is /24. Right. Next, fourth question is, show you. Yeah. The fourth question is number of network bits. So I can use this formula and can tell you what is number of network bits. So network bits is 24. Number fifth question is host bits. Host bits is 24. This till now all are clear. 8. All are clear. Next topic is I want to do subnetting tomorrow. How many networks I can create from this IP address? Number of networks. Then I want to put computers in this network. How many computers I can put in this network? So how to find out number of networks, number of hosts? Okay, this is the question. The formula I'll give you. Note down the formulas. The formula is 2 power n, and n is what? N equal to network bits. Okay. Then 2 power n minus 2. Okay. Can anybody tell me why minus 2 is coming here?
One is broadcasting address and one is network address.
Yes.
So
There is a reserved addresses are there. Okay. So a lot of reserved addresses are there. If you see this tag here, you can see the reserved addresses here. Okay. I'll show you this. Yeah, you see here. 127 is reserved for loopback. 169 and 169.254 is reserved for your APIPA. Automatically it will configure this IP address. If you don't configure any IP address in your PC, automatically this address is configured. They are reserved for that APIPA, automatic private IP address. Third one is each network we reserve 2 addresses. One is broad network address, name of the network, broadcast address to send everybody in the network, one to all. Okay. Because of this 2 addresses is reserved, we are using this what do you call this -2. Okay. Now I'm going to put this This is my 2 powers. I'm just keeping here. Now the answer is what? 2 power n. How many network bits I have? 2 power, sorry. Okay. 2 power yeah. 2 power 24. So the answer is 16 million networks I can create. Now number of hosts 2 power 8 minus 2. So why? What is the answer? 250. 2 power 8 how much? I think 256. Correct. 56 minus 2 is so 254 computers I can connect. 254 computers can connect in this one class A, like one network. Now, next is how to find network address. Then what else? Network address, then broadcast address, and valid host address. That's it. Broadcast address, and valid. 10 is valid host addresses range. So what addresses I can configure in my computers after creating this topology, this design. So the formula I'll write down one by one, then I'll write down the answer also. In this valid host, we have two types, two questions. Sub questions are there 10.1, 10.2. What are they? 10.1 is called 10.1 is called we call this as a first host address, last host address. This is the two sub questions in there. Okay. Now let us start. First, network address. What is the formula? The formula is in IP address, all host bits are 0. You have to tell me the formula tomorrow when I'm asking, right? Please note down these formulas, okay? Very important. For submitting, it is very important. In IP address, all net host bits only. Host bits are 1. Then we'll get a broadcast address. Now take the example of here. What is the IP address? 192.168.1.0. 1.1. I think, yeah, 1.1. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to put this network ID n.h, right? So now last 8 bits are host bits. Okay. Now how I'm going to do? I'm going to do 168.1.000000000. Then I'm putting /24. This is, you understand what is /24 now? Okay. Now then I'm going to put this. The answer will come what? My network address will be network address will be 192.168.1.0/24. Next to broadcast address. So same formula I'll follow here also, but I'm going to put all host bits as 111. 1111 1111. I'll convert this into binary to decimal. I'll get 254. Understood? So I'll remind that my broadcast address. My broadcast address will be 192.168.1.255. Next, first host address, last host address. The formula is very simple. Network address plus 1, broadcast address minus 1. That's it. The answer will be, you see, 192.168.1.0 is network address. So plus 1 is 1.1/24. Then this one will be 192.168.1.254/24. Is this clear? How I got all the answers? 10 questions. Now I will give you 5 IP addresses like this. You have to write down these 10 questions. Answer these 10 questions. This is the exercise I'm giving today. So tomorrow, see, this is basically IP addressing. All these things are exercises. So if you do it only, you learn. You have any questions, Sandeep and Ashwita?
Yeah, Prem, in class B, the range is 128 to 191, right? And in
Yes.
A1 to 126. So 126 IP. So for what it will be used?
127, na? 127 for loopback, for self-testing. Okay, this is reserved for self-testing. So we want to test yourself. For example, I want to test my NIC is working fine or not. Okay. What I'll do, I'll just go here. I'll type like this. You're seeing my screen, right? CMD is coming.
Yeah.
I'm typing ping. I'll use 127.0.0.1. Now what it is doing is, it is pinging myself and it is telling me, yes, your network interrupt card is, network NIC is, drivers are properly installed, NIC is working fine. For self-testing, we can use this. It's a local host address. We can use this for self-testing. Understand?
But we can ping the IP which is assigned to the machine also, right? Then also it will give the same answer.
Yes, that is host address, na? What you're saying is host addresses, correct?
Yeah, correct.
Now, see, host addresses in real time, what happens? Now you are going to use DHCP. What is DHCP?
Dynamic host control protocol, which are
Now that time you cannot configure IP address to the hosts, but you need to, as an engineer, no, you need to make your driver to install and make it ready. Then once you connect to the network only, you'll get the IP address. But how do you confirm that your drivers are properly installed, your laptop is ready?
Mhm. Okay, without the IP.
Question. Yes. Without getting the IP address, I want to make sure that, see, DHCP will work when your NIC is configured properly, right?
Yeah.
Now DHCP, I want to make sure that my DHCP is now, for example, you connected but you are not getting IP address. You have to make sure that my laptop is okay, my configuration is okay. How do you check troubleshoot it? You got it?
Yeah, Prem, got it. So the whole thing is used, right, for this?
Yeah, you can try that up to, I think, I don't know. You have to see that what they are allowing now. 127 they reserved it. Yes. See,
Yeah, the whole range is used.
255 will not come, I think.
That will be broadcasting.
That they will not give generally. Same way 0 also they will not give. Rest all will. Okay, you can check this because this depends on the standard part. Okay, see, it's not coming. From 1 to 55.255.54. Okay. Your question got answered, Sandeep? Sandeep, your question got answered?
Sorry, Prem, your voice is breaking.
Yeah, some issue in your side because mine is 11 milliseconds is continuously coming. And Ashwita, are you facing the same issue? Ashwita, my voice is continuously breaking?
No,
No, right?
no.
Okay, then the problem is your side only, Sandeep.
Okay.
She is not facing that issue. So then now we need to see what is the issue. You can just try out what is the problem. Apart from this, anything is there you want to discuss?
Nothing. I'm okay.
So now what we will do now, we will create one classroom for you. You know classroom, right? We have classrooms.
Yeah.
Your mic is having some problem, I think, Sandeep. Your mic is having some problem.
My voice is echoing.
Yeah, voice is coming, but there is some disturbance in your mic, I think.
Okay.
Okay. Now I'll create a class for you. Security plus 739. Your just give me your Gmail IDs.
Okay.
WhatsApp me. I will give assignment to you. Okay. So you can answer this. Yeah, Sandeep, I got the email. Thank you. Send my YouTube. See that you are you got the invite. Okay. Ashwita.
Yeah, sending. 1 second.
Yeah, send it. That add. If you have Ranjita's also, give me Ranjita's also.
Okay.
So what I will do? Yeah, I got it.
Yeah, got it, friend.
So yeah, you got it right. So what I will do,
Yeah,
I'll
yeah.
make one small assignment here. You can submit here. We'll have a lot of assignments like this. So I'll give you some assignments. You can submit this. I added she correct. Just create some task work. Create assignment. IP v4 basics. Okay, basics exercises. Exercises and this way. So I'm going to add. See, you are able to get this. Okay, let me know if you're not getting it. I'm just trying now. So you're getting this. This is the questions. This is the exercise questions.
Okay.
So you need to submit this. So how to? Submit this. Assign commanders. Yeah. See that you got the question. In receive, I will do something. Let's see if we got something. Also is center. So this is I gave you. I think exercises.
Yeah, Prem, I got the question.
Assignment, you got it right.
Yeah, yeah.
You are able to submit there, no? This assignment.
Yeah,
Will be there. Submitting will be there. You can submit it. Okay. Fine now. So you also got it right. I have assigned to both of you. You have to answer this. Okay.
Okay, sure.
That's it. This is today's exercises. So once you submit it, tomorrow we'll revise this submission. Then we will start with submitting. Okay.
Sure.
Okay. Take care. Have a nice day. Take care. Bye.
Fine,
We'll
Prem.
see you
Yeah,
tomorrow at
take care.
7:30.
Yeah. Have a nice day.
Tomorrow
Can we get the
also.
screenshot? Yeah. Yeah, Prem.
Which one? Which one here?
The paint.
I'll just paint. Okay. Can I put it here only? I'm seeing now. I will add it here only. Okay. I'm making one single place. Everything will be available. Good, no? You got it
Yeah,
right.
correct.
That's my plan. So, you got it here only.
Okay.
You
Yeah.
can open this and you have the formulas, everything available here. You can use it. You can do it. Fine, na?
Okay. Sure, friend.
Okay. So take care. So tomorrow also I'll be taking from office only. So little bit here
Okay.
and there will be there. Timing late will be there. You can just WhatsApp
Yeah,
me.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's okay.
I have to just adjust with this timing because again this is new computers. Internet is not working. My system is not booting. So
Okay, okay.
it's a little
Yeah.
bit IK. It will take some time. So let me know. Okay. WhatsApp me. Okay.
Okay. Yeah, yeah, sure, friend.
Okay. Thank you, Ashwita. Thank you,
Yeah,
Sandeep.
thank,
See you tomorrow then.
thank you,
Take
friend.
care.
Yeah. All right.
Have a
See you,
nice day.
friend.
Take care. Bye.
Yeah, have a nice day. Bye-bye. Thanks.